in a game which was meant to raise money for the health of men my age, I almost died. You got to remember, I'm rucking with 5 broken ribs and a punctured lung. No idea what Gorringe was going to do. I didn't know he was going to do that. 99 was when I started making money, actually, and that was through stand-up comedy. The next day, my audience just doubled or tripled, really, or maybe quadrupled. From that moment on, I knew that there was going to be no more dole forms in my life.
On the show today, D, probably the funniest comedian that we've probably ever produced in Australia. Welcome, Mr. Dave Hughes to the dos&d show.
Yeah, that's going to annoy every other comedian in Australia and many audience members. But I appreciate it, and I'm taking on board, and my subconscious thinks he's not lying.
Well, that's good, because we were just talking off air. Dos went and saw your show last year, and he's been raving about it all day too.
Well, I need to see the new show.
That's what leads me to this. I'm interested to hear about the new show. What can we expect in this one?
I do appreciate that, mate. So, and I do recommend everyone come see me live before you judge me on the internet. You see me live, then you can judge me on the internet. The new show is basically around the footy injury I had in the Legends game, where I, nearly died because the opposition coach, Shane Crawford, who was coaching the Allies when I was playing for Victoria, told his whole team to target me. And he actually said, I don't care what happens out there. So he didn't care about the result. Just make sure Dave Hughes never wants to play this game again. He said everyone's got to tackle him and make it stick and make it hurt. And quite a few of them did. So, yeah. So at the age of 54, in a game which was meant to raise money for the health of men my age, I almost died. So, yeah.
And did the obviously the goal for you to never play footy again, does it work? Did that work, or do you want to go out again? And
I want to go again. So so it didn't work, Croft. They got the win on the night, and I didn't play the last quarter. Actually, I didn't want to play the last quarter. That's true. I had 30,000 people chanting my name, which I've never had in my entire life. And then they all wanted me to come back on the ground because the voiceover announcer had said, "Who wants to see Hughesy back out of that?" and I didn't even me.
Well, here we go.
Why did they put you in the ruck here, honestly?
Well, here we go. For those that don't know.
So this is I already had 5 broken ribs and a punctured lung at that moment. So I'm rucking. You got to remember, I'm rucking with 5 broken ribs and a punctured lung. So, and I just wanted to tap the ball. Had no idea what Gorringe was going to do. I didn't know he was going to do that. I had no idea. He hadn't given me a heads up. You remember, he bumped into me, and look, he's a big guy.
He's a big boy.
So I've got 5 fresh broken ribs and a punctured lung, and he nailed me there. People think I'm acting here. I'm not. I can hardly breathe, and the ribs are going into my ribs. I've never really watched this, actually. And so that's Crawford. He's the man who set them all up to hit me. He's worried right now, probably.
He actually does look a bit concerned.
He rang me while I was in hospital, going, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Mate, you sorted this." I could have sued him. I didn't. So
you actually look like you're struggling.
Yeah.
Mate, I am. I've got 5 broken ribs and a punctured lung. I'm struggling. And I know that everyone's laughing at me. And right now, I'm thinking, am I going to live? But this was my only chance to kick a goal. I knew that. So I had to focus.
So the nerves there or not?
Yes, there was nerves. I knew they'd all laugh at me if I missed. Yeah. And so what are we at? We're 20 metres out. I thought we were 30 metres out, to be honest. But anyway, look at that, straight through the middle. So I'm so happy. And then Mitch Robinson.
He's a dog.
No, but
former Carlton man too.
Mate, earlier in the game, and this is true, it's funny to watch this while I talk about it. Right at the start of the game, he'd come up to me and said, take a mark over me, like jump on my shoulders. And I'm like, mate, you got to step later. I'm not going to be able to do that. If I try to jump over your shoulders, I'll knee you on the back of the calves. So he said, all right, bump me over. I said, all right, I'll bump you over. But this was theatre.
Yeah.
There was no payback. I said, you're not going to pay me back. But he did pay me back. Just as he was about to do it, I'm like, mate, don't. Oh, it's too late. I'm dead. I thought I was dead.
I was
nearly dead.
You were ICU,
yeah.
weren't you?
Yes, I was. I went to the after party. It was probably a bad idea.
So that's the mistake.
It was one of the mistakes. But, I was like, I'm here now.
Yeah.
And so I went to the after party. But, yeah, and so the next morning I'm groaning in bed. Actually, Campbell Brown actually gave me a lift, not home. Gave me a lift to Crown Casino. I didn't want to go to Crown. I had a gig
like
the next day, meant to be in Shepparton.
Oh.
And I'm like, so I'm in the car with Campbell Brown. I'm going, he does a lot of sportsman's nights and stuff.
Yeah.
And said, do you reckon I'm going to be able to get to Shepparton tomorrow? And he goes, you'll be fine. So he left me out the front of Crown. I had to get an Uber home from Crown. And I remember in the Uber, the guys, I said, mate, can you slow down? And he's going around corners and my insides are just like not good. I felt like I was on like the world's fastest roller coaster. And I'm just in an Uber. He goes, mate, I'm just doing 40k an hour. I said, you need to go slow, man. I'm having trouble back here. And so, yeah, I was groaning at 3 o'clock in the morning when my wife said, we need to go to hospital. So I did.
Well, no one really knew if it was a bit or not. Well, for a little while, like the next morning when no one actually knew how serious it was. Like,
Yes.
it like, gee whiz. I mean, but it's pretty cool. I think we were saying to you off air, we watched the Australian story with you, of you, and it was a really fascinating watch. But it's kind of funny how you talk in those early days what footy kind of meant to you growing up and being around footy.
Everything. Footy meant everything.
Yeah.
AFL was what I thought about. The only thing I thought about really.
And then it go full circle, and then now all these years later, you're at the Legends match. Like it's pretty. Like when you reflect, I know you've had this incredible career. We're about to dive into it, and there's a lot in between. But just when you zoom out from there, do you have a sense of pride?
Oh, look, I do, but I do, but you can't. I mean, and this is just an overall life thing. You just can't like. I really try to stay in the present moment. So yeah, so I don't really reflect too much on what's happened or what I've achieved or not because, yeah, it's not. I don't think it's that healthy to do that, to be honest. So I'd rather just be now. So, but yeah, having said that, yeah, I am. It's funny. It's funny. My life has been funny, and it's been crazy to think that I get to end up, at the age of 54 playing in that game when, I actually gave up AFL at the age of 24 when I was playing for Bentley in the Southern League, Bentley Demons. And I'd just done a stand-up comedy gig at the club. I was, in my early stages of my stand-up comedy, and the senior captain wanted to run a lap with me after training whatever the next training was. And I thought he was going to tell me to focus on my footy, but he told me to focus on my comedy. So, and I hadn't had that good a gig. Geez, how bad at footy am I going? So, so I stopped playing footy then at the age of 24.
Right.
Yeah. And but here's an example of the adrenaline I get from doing stand-up comedy. I had played a game. The last game I played for Bentley was in the reserves in a final, and we'd lost the final, and I had injured my shoulder in the game. And I couldn't move it. It was frozen. It was on a Sunday, and I had a gig at the Esplanade Hotel later that Sunday afternoon. And I got on stage, and I said to the crowd, "My God, I think I've broken my shoulder at footy today. See how far I can move it." And so I'm on stage with the microphone in one hand and my hand, thinking it's not going to move anyway. And it just went straight up. And I'm like, what? But the adrenaline of being on stage meant that my frozen shoulder was suddenly unfrozen. Yeah. And I looked like the crowd are looking at me going, what's your problem? And I'm like, that wasn't meant to happen. After the gig, it was back to being frozen. So, yeah, it was that. So for me, stand-up comedy gives me that edge of just I go to another level. I never felt sick on stage ever. It's like you go to somewhere where you're not thinking about anything else. So, it's just an intense moment. But yeah, that was my last game of footy really, apart from the Legends game. Although I played one other Legends game when it was back on about 10 years ago, and when it was on 10 years ago. I had 2 kicks and kicked 2 goals. So
there you go.
It was really only my 3rd kick in a Legends game, and I've kicked 3 goals.
That's not bad. That's a good return.
100% strike rate. So.
How are you coming up with your material? I guess like you talk about that adrenaline rush. Comedy's always been, it's been your thing your whole life, obsessed with it. Where your comedy's so relatable. I love it. I find it so relatable. But are you writing things down every day, coming up with ideas?
No, it's, it's generally when I see something or something occurs to me, so you're at the petrol Bowser, and the other day, and it said on the Bowser there was an advertisement that said scan, pump and save. And I'm like, they're asking me to get my phone out at the Bowser. And, you remember when you were... That is bullshit apparently. So that's an example of what the fuck? I've been letting my phone ring for fucking 20 years because you're telling me it's going to blow the petrol station up, and now you're telling me to scan at the Bowser. So that's an example of something I just see. It annoys me, and I think that's funny as well because I can lean into the idiocy of that. So that's one example. But bad things happen to me, I get like that injury. So that was really a gift from God.
Yeah, your whole show, 2026.
I
Bang.
nearly died, but it's like even the next morning I'm in hospital, and as soon as I went to the X-ray after my wife woke me up because of my groaning, we went and got an X-ray, and it was like the guy told me 5 broken ribs and a punctured lung, and the guy who had the X-ray he'd watched the game, and he was giggling, going, "I mean, what?" He said, "Why were you out there, man? This is not good." And I'm like, I was
It's not like you're getting paid for it either.
I wasn't, no. But I found out other people were at the after party.
Gary Ablett.
I'm not naming names, but some people had a good day, good night. Anyway, so anyway, I lost money out of it because I had a lot of gigs. I couldn't fly for a month because of my punctured lungs. So, and the insurance did not. They weren't aware of how much a week I can earn sometimes. Not every week, but that anyway. So they had a limit for the weekly. Fuck off. Anyway, I still haven't put the form in because it's shat me so much, and it's not. Anyway, I've got to put the form in. There is some money, but I've got to pay tax on it. What if I can pay tax on my insurance payout? What? It's hardly worth it.
Yeah, that's not right.
I don't think it's right.
What's your So you say like these things happen. So what's your process of actually writing the joke that we then end up seeing on either radio, TV, or on stage?
You know what? It's generally if my feelings are hurt, it's funny.
Yeah.
So and I can get a laugh out of it.
Yeah.
So here's an example. The other day, I'm walking through to Woolies in St Kilda, and I'm walking down an alleyway, and there's a middle-aged bloke who's spray painting on the wall. Like, I think he's meant to be there. You know, whatever. He's a middle-aged graffiti artist. Great, good luck to him. Anyway, I walk past him, and he goes, "Hughesy," and it's a very friendly Hughesy. And then he goes, "You were hilarious." And then he said, "You were hilarious." And then there was a beat of probably half a second where in my mind I'm going, what, TV, radio, stage, podcast. Where was I hilarious? He goes, "Back in the day." I'm like, fuck. So at the time, I'm like, it hurt. I'm like, shit, I'm still funny, man. Fucking come and see my show now, you arsehole. I didn't say that. I thought about it. But I knew, because my feelings were hurt, that that's funny.
Yes.
And so I went on stage and said it, and as I've said it here, I know that's funny, and people laugh. So that's an example of, material. So when I first started back in years ago, I was unemployed, as in I was on the dole, and it was embarrassing to be on the dole. But I would talk about it on stage and people would laugh. So it's like therapy, my comedy.
Yeah.
So whatever I find embarrassing, I tell people and they laugh, and then I feel okay about it.
Yeah.
So, I honestly think a real friend is someone, when something shit happens to you, you can ring them and they will laugh.
Yeah.
So I think that's a real friend. Someone who will go, "Oh, fuck." And people, I've got comedian mates who have terrible gigs, and the first thing they do is ring me because they know I'll find it funny. So they'll be at a gig where no one's laughing and people leave, or someone throws a pie at them. And I think I'll ring Hughesy, he'll fucking find this funny. So I do.
It seems like you're a comedian that gets stopped all the time, though. Like, I've seen you a few times, and in your material, it's Hughesy, someone stopped you. Like, how often are you getting bloody...
Heaps.
Really?
Too much in relation to my ticket sales, to be honest. I'm at the front of my venue, which is not sold out, and then some bloke walks past and goes, "Oh my God, you're amazing. You've changed my life." Well, I'm doing a gig just in here. Oh, yeah, right. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Come in, you dickhead.
Give something back.
Yeah, if you're my biggest fan, you should fucking know I've got a show on right now. So but I do get stopped a lot. So anyway.
I mean, you've done a lot of TV shows as well, so people watch TV and they see you on TV. So
Which ones haven't you done, Hughesy?
Mate, I'll do anything, honestly. Honestly, I'm doing that. Did the fucking House of Wellness with bloody Croft, who nearly killed me. And he's hosting a show called The House of Wellness. That was on.
And they asked you and you didn't even think about it?
No, it was on last night, in fact. And then he's like, we filmed it a couple of weeks ago or last week or whatever, and he's like, and he hugs me like, for a joke because of my ribs, and he gives me a big hug, and I'm it fucking hurts. So anyway.
In all seriousness, so again, hearing you talk and a bit about you, are you someone that struggles to say no? Are you a workaholic?
I'm definitely a workaholic, no doubt.
Yeah.
But I love getting out of the house, so I just want to get out of the house. So, and I will. I don't have to get paid. If my wife, if I think the kids are watching something, or they don't need me at night for my wife's school teacher, she's marking homework, I'll go, "Fuck. Do you mind if I just go to there's the basement comedy club or the comics lounge? I'll just drop in on a weird week and just get up And hopefully, a story like the graffiti story might have happened that day. So I think it's funny, and I'll get up and I'll say it on stage. And if it gets a laugh, as it did, that works. So I love comedy, and I love coming up with material, and I love audiences. I love making people laugh.
I was at the basement the other night, and I'd never been there before. It's a ripping venue.
Yeah, I'm doing my show there at the basement. Yes, I am, absolutely. So I do the comedy theatre as well a couple of times. Mate, if I could do the MCG, I'd fucking do that. Believe me, but yeah, it is a good venue. Yeah. So yeah, I work there a lot all the time.
Were you always like had an outgoing kind of personality? Like was it clear for those around you you'd go into stand up comedy?
I was a shy, like primary school shy. I remember walking
quite intelligent too, right? Like I
was a thinker, and that can be a curse as well when you think too much, because I was also self-obsessed and a narcissist. Really, I'd be like wanting people to acknowledge my genius at the age of 6, I was shy when I first started primary school. I remember I was like too shy to even ask to get involved with the footy, the footy games you'd have at primary school. So I would like just hang out on my own for a while. And I eventually got into and I was pretty good at sports. So once I got going with it into the footy games, I certainly got into it. But yeah, I was definitely not an extrovert, and I was, a quiet kid, absolutely, really quiet. And then later on in secondary school, I started to, develop my comedy and realised that I could make people laugh, other kids. Well, I went to an all-boys secondary school, and I could make them laugh. My first gig probably that really worked was Year 11 religious education, where I did an impromptu speech about a woman who wanted to be a saint, or they wanted this woman to be a saint, called Sally Trench was her name. I'll never forget it. Hadn't written a speech at all. The Brother O'Brien said, "It's your turn to do your speech." I hadn't written it. Opened a book and just started reading about this woman, and the crowd, which was my class.
I was going to say your peers in the class,
killing themselves. They were laughing so hard, and I've got this room. And then they gave me all 10s for this speech, even though it was just an impromptu piss take. But the Brother O'Brien actually failed me for the subject. So, so one of the only subjects I failed at high school, and that really was possibly the start of my comedy career. So, but he's dead now, so he probably doesn't regret it. But I don't know.
What was the first actual gig, like at a mic night or something like that?
Yeah, my first, I did a 21st speech from my mate Sean, who's got a massive penis. And
Shawnee.
Sean, he knows that. So I reckon my first thought about joke was at his 21st, where I talk about, his family's there, whatever, everyone's there, and I talk about the fact that it was after footy one night. I was year 9, and we were having a wee next to the oval or whatever, and I look over, and he was through puberty and I wasn't. And I thought, my God, is that how big it gets? And it didn't. So, so that was probably my first laugh, that line there. So, but my first ever stand-up gig in a comedy club was when I was 20, just turned 22. Moved to Perth after, leaving my hometown of Warrnambool, and I'd already failed a couple of uni degrees. But I had the dream to do comedy, but the first night was horrendous. No one laughed, and I'd failed. I dropped out of 2 uni degrees. I think I'd just been sacked as a dishwasher. So I honestly, I'm on stage thinking I'm just not employable. There's nothing I can do in life. I'm going to be like a homeless. So I'm on stage trying to be funny while those thoughts are running through my head. Like, I literally wanted to kill myself on stage. It's not a good headspace to try to make people laugh.
No.
As I'm walking out of the room, because there was no backstage. So you had to walk through the crowd. And as I'm about to leave, this bloke goes, I was talking about being teased at school, and this bloke said, "They were right to tease you because you're a loser." That was the last thing that I heard at my first comedy gig. Horrendous.
It's terrible. Now, I've never heard Dos laugh this much, and I can tell you now there's more to come with the unbelievably funny Dave Hughes Dos. But first, let's have a word from our friends at CoinSpot.
Well, CoinSpot, the easiest place to buy, sell, and trade your cryptocurrencies.
You can get over 500 cryptocurrencies and buy Bitcoin for as little as $1.
Download the app today, and let's get back to the episode with Dave Hughes.
Is it hard, Hughesy, when we'll come back to it, but when you eventually it all turns for you, and now this is your full-time gig.
Yeah.
To be known as the funny guy, is it hard to walk into a room where you're known as this comedian? As Dos said, one of the biggest in the country. And is there pressure to be funny?
You know what? Not generally. Early on, when I was I knew I wanted to be. I was a comedian, but I was not like making much money, and I was on the dole. So if I was at a party, and that question, "What do you do?" and that no one knew me as anything. So then it's, oh God, do I say I'm a comedian? Because they're going to go, "Well, be funny. You're not funny," and I really don't have any like track record to back up my claim that I'm a comedian. So that was tricky. But once you start making a living at it and a reasonable living at it, you just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a comedian. Well, you're not funny. Well, I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
Pay me.
Is like,
not be funny.
How much would a comedian earn early years? Like, do you have to go through some pretty tough shit? Early?
I was on the dole from 1992. When I dropped out of uni, so 1992. I dropped out of uni in 91, end of 91. So from 92 through to 98, when I went to England to do stand-up comedy. So I was still on the dole all those years, but I was making quite a bit of money cash.
Nice.
And so I think the dole was just an extra bit to help me pay my rent. But I still put the form in.
Yeah.
So I still needed the money.
Yeah.
So that was like 5-6 years of being on the dole. And then for me, it went from sort of hand to mouth, sort of, I'd never got to my last 2 cents for a few years, even though I was on the dole. But then I got back, I was in London and I was doing good gigs there, but then I got a reasonable contract to come do right for an Australian TV show, and I was lonely in England, even though the gigs were going well. Everyone was miserable.
How long were you there for?
Not long. I was there a whole winter, though, and winter in England is just... It's shocking.
Yeah.
That no one smiles. Like, you're like 3 months, there's no one. You don't see the sun. You don't see anyone smile. People are miserable.
We've been there. And then
it ain't nice during the cold.
What's it like, though, when like you're because that's a long period. You said 91, 92 to 98, and you're on the dole.
Yeah.
But you're also, like, how do you explain to your family or your peers or your friends that, hey, like, I believe in this, but...
Yeah.
Things might not have turned yet.
Yeah, well, my parents were worried that they were going to be paying my rent for the rest of my life. So, yeah, they were quite concerned. They're like, Mum would go, just finish your uni degree. My first uni degree I did was IT, information technology, in 1989, which was just on the cusp of when the internet started.
Yeah.
So people doing that, I didn't no idea what was going to... No one knew what the internet was going to become back then. It was like, there was no money. Well, I didn't think it was. Obviously, I quit. The internet has proved fairly financially viable. So, and I had mates who did the direct, or one guy I know, Craig Hinckley's his name, and he's in America doing he's in the IT guru over there, I think. So he was making 200 grand,
back
like
then.
probably 95.
Wow.
And I'm like, shit, I've got rent assistance, so I'm going well as well. So, but I was having slow rises though, even though I went on Hey Hey at Saturday in 97, I think.
Tammy, can you try to find that? Dave on Hey Hey?
Yeah, my first time on a Hey Hey at Saturday was probably the most nervous I've ever been in my entire life, because it was a show back in the 90s and 80s, and I think the start of the 2000s, that was really popular.
Yeah.
So country boy, from a small town or smallish town, and there I am on national TV live, and I'm going to try to make this audience laugh, and then everyone else around the country laugh. So nervous, but the spot went really well. So well that my first spot on Hey Hey, I don't know, sometimes it's hard to find on that. Is this the first one or not? Let's have a look if this is it.
Click play, Sammy.
Click play, Sammy.
That's 98.
Okay.
It might be that one. I can't remember. It was 97, 98.
Look at
I
Darryl.
did a few
Doing
times.
stand-up comedy for
Lavinia.
He's had a couple of shows at the recent comedy festival.
I think this is it.
He's got a couple of shows he's done on Foxtel. He's working not because he's funny. Here he is, David Hughes.
David Hughes.
David Hughes.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's the first time on TV. I was so nervous. My legs were shaking at this point.
I bet.
So much.
Hello everyone, how are we going?
Depending on the dome.
Great. Having a good time?
I'm so nervous.
Yeah, all right.
I'm like, they're not really laughing at
Now,
me.
you're all wondering about me, you're all interested in what I've been up to in my life, and that's fair enough, I don't blame you. I've had an interesting life. I haven't always done comedy, I've done other things. A couple of years I studied at uni. I did accounting for a couple of years. I thought it was going all right till I had my first work experience.
I can't remember this
Sitting in
one.
the office and the guy said, mate, can you work this out? I said, mate, why don't you work it out?
I'm not sure.
Didn't go that well, but still comes in handy, that training, because now when I shoplift, I know exactly how much I've saved. Guys, I don't shoplift, and I don't, kiddies don't do it. They're very heavy. Haha. No, I don't shoplift. I do go into fruit and veg shops and eat grapes. I've got a lot of time on my hands. I can eat a lot of grapes. I was in the shop the other day chowing down on these grapes. They were beautiful. There was no pips, you know. Wasn't making a mess of the store. I thought everyone was having a good time. Eventually the girl behind the counter said, "Mate, you going to buy some of them?" I said, "I don't have to now, I'm full."
Now, I don't know if that is my first time. I don't know if that goes to the dole routine or not. The dole routine, which is I was famous for it back in the day, I did on Hey At Saturday. That was my first ever time on Hey At Saturday. I reckon that might be my second time. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've just confused my whole life. But I did the spot, and I think I was wearing a black shirt, actually. And this spot I did, and it was a long sleeve one. I think so. They played on the 50-year anniversary of the show. And it was the only stand-up spot they played on the 50-year anniversary.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, and it was a few years ago now they did the 50-year anniversary show. And, so that spot, which was not that spot, I believe, because that was already halfway through. I wouldn't have got to it, was a spot that was my signature spot, but I was still on the dole at the time. So I did this thing about being on the dole on that show, went well, and then I went back to the dole office the next week to put my form in, thinking I would get a standing ovation. And no one gave a shit. I'm like, "You've got comedy royalty walking in, and I'm putting my form in. You're my office. You should have a fucking poster of me out the front, you know, saying that you can also become well known by handing forms into this office on a fortnightly basis." Yeah.
Is it easier or tougher when you could do a TV spot and you've got a few minutes versus a long period of time, like an hour show, for example? Like, what's easier to add, like?
Yeah, I know what you mean, to get an impact.
Yeah.
Look, it's it can be either, really. So I'm pretty relaxed. On stage, I'm so relaxed now. I think I've just given up caring completely, which is so relaxing. So I can go on stage now for 90 minutes without fucking blinking. So I'm just like, I just love it. Again, I don't know if the audience do, but I do. So, but it used to be tough. Sometimes I would do an hour show, like at a comedy festival, and I'd have a clock, and I'd get to about, I think I've run out of material, and look down, and I've only done 20 minutes, and I'm like, fuck, I need to do another 40. So I start to really panic. Yeah, so I've had some real death spiral nights. So, and often, the funny thing is that the worse you're going, the longer you go.
Yeah.
'Cause you think you've got to give value when you really should just walk away. So, but you just keep going. You're digging a hole, and you're trying to dig yourself out of it, but you dig deeper and deeper. So, yeah. So, but if I'm really going, if it's been a great time, I might just, because you think, oh, well, I can't, just get off the stage because you're so happy and there. So it's weird. The opposite of when you're going badly, you should get off. But I would blame the crowd too and say it's your fault. And then I would sometimes attack the crowd for being stupid, you know.
Yeah.
So, and that crowd don't like that. They don't like being attacked. They don't like being blamed.
How'd the big break come along for radio? Because a lot of people probably, that's how they found you and probably now enjoy your comedy off the back of your radio career.
Yeah, I was doing the stand-up comedy and some of the radio. So Triple M, I think, might have seen me out and about. Or I did spots on a show called Crud, which was a Tony Moclair and Julian Schiller. That was, it was Guido Hatzis was the character that was on that show. It was Tony Moclair, who's now does 3AW, I think, during the day. And so I was, whenever I would get on radio, I would generally be able to be funny, like in short spots. So I knew, I just know what's funny. I know how to get there quick too. So I'm a safe bet, basically.
Yeah.
You say get Hughesy on, he'll be funny. So, well, that's what I think anyway. So, so I've, as you go on, you work out what's good and how you can provide value and be entertaining. So I was doing little spots, and then, Nova started in Melbourne in 2001, so then the radio network Nova. They started in Sydney, I think, a year before. And I got asked to host the first breakfast show on Nova. And the stand-up was going really well by then. I was like, 99 was when I started making money, actually, and that was through stand-up comedy. And It wasn't a hey spot. It was a spot on the Gala, the Comedy Festival Gala, which is John just as the Comedy Festival in Melbourne starts. And I did a spot about fish and chips. And it just, for whatever reason, it resonated with a lot of people. And so that introduced me. A lot of people who maybe hadn't seen Hey or hadn't seen me, that was the moment where the next day my audience just doubled or tripled, really, or maybe quadrupled straight away. It was like bang. And then I was, from that moment on, 1999, April 1999, about now actually, 1999. So how long ago is that? 27 years ago.
Yeah.
I knew that there was going to be no more doll forms in my life. So I bought a purple Corolla with the winnings. I don't know why I thought a purple Corolla would be good.
When you say making money though, like it's easy. Today in 2026, I go, okay, well, you've got your shows, but then you've got your socials now. Like you've got.
I don't make any money off socials. Right? If you guys can help me there,
well, we definitely could. But like when you say real money, is that just through ticket sales?
Nah, well, yes.
Back then?
Initially it was.
99?
Yeah. It was ticket sales, yeah. So it became popular around, and look, I did a show called The Glass House as well in early 2000s. Actually, when Nova started, I did this TV show that started at the same time on the ABC, which was a real slow burn. Like they were going to axe it after a couple of weeks. The ratings were not good. But then I think the producers begged them to keep it on air and moved it to a late night time slot. And it found an audience. And that actually really broke me around Australia. And then, so there was a time there where I was just, it ebbs and flows, don't get me wrong. But there was a time there where, early 2000s where every ticket was selling like straight away, all around Australia. It was like, that's ebbs and flows, as I say. So, but that was a time where I knew I wasn't going to need money was not a problem. But then radio was really big money as well, to be honest. Yeah, almost straight away. We did really well straight away. We were like number one survey one, and then we
was that with Dave as well? Or?
Dave O'Neill, and Kate Langbrook. So that went. We won best radio show at the Radio Awards that year. I had no idea that was prestigious. No idea. But we never won it again. When we won it, I couldn't have cared less. I'm like, whatever. And then like 15 years later, I'm like, well, we're not even fucking nominated? These dickheads are nominated? This is bullshit. I once rang the people who... I said, who the fuck does the nomination? I want them on the phone. So I got this woman on the phone and I just started yelling at her. What the fuck? Do you know how funny I am? You're not nominating me in a comedy section? Who are these people? Anyway, I'm over it now, but yes, there hasn't been that many awards in my life. And I didn't value the ones I had.
That's an interesting point with Dos raised because like you're making money off ticket sales. How do you promote? Is it purely like trying to get as many TV spots or radio gigs to promote a show, or is it now just your name is now carrying you through? Yeah,
look, it's weird and it's not. There's no science to it. So, and some people just blow up. Like they'll be going for years and then they just blow up. You know. So, and look, I'm not in a blow up stage. I know that. I've got people say to me when they see me, I'm the funniest guy ever, but I'm not in that blow up stage. So, I'm not selling every ticket. I am selling a number of tickets, but I could sell more. I think more people should see me now. So honestly, that's what I think. Maybe they think they shouldn't. But I know if they do come and see me, they'll have a great time. So, I know I'm the best at stand-up comedy.
Well, that doesn't mean everyone comes to see me. You don't need to blow up. Like you've had your...
I know, but mate, it's never enough. You know, it's never enough. Your cup's never full.
Well, I did think that when you started sitting back like this, I thought, he's loving talking about it.
No, but my cup is never full. But you got to try to get beyond your ego because if you compare yourself to other people, you'll always come off second best because there's always some arsehole doing better than you.
Did you struggle with that though, comparing?
Oh God, yeah. Fuck yes. I mean, we all do. I think.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think, I don't want to get all, spiritual, but I will. But I'm really making a conscious effort not to do it anymore. And it's working. You actually do. You don't have to live that way. You don't have to spend your whole time getting jealous, which I have spent. I'm 55 now. I've probably spent a good 49 to 54 years being jealous of other people, And then so many people go, how could you be jealous? And I'm like, fuck, shit. Yeah, right. So, it's ridiculous. It's a utterly ridiculous way to live, and it's not necessary, and I've got to stop it.
So for my introduction to you, mate, was as a kid, I just loved Before the Game. That was that was actually how my dad and I bonded. As like we would always on a Saturday night watch the show. I played footy on the Sunday. It hypes you up, and obviously leads into the footy. But that show for me anyway, and I know for you too, Dos, and a lot of people probably our age, that was such a staple, and that was my introduction to you. I'd love you to maybe chat a bit about the impact of that show. Because it was very different to what we'd seen.
Yeah, so that was back in, when that started? That started in the early 2000s, I think. I got a call from, it was me and Pete Halley got the same manager. And I think if he called me or the manager called me, do you want to do a late night AFL show on Channel 10? I'm like, yeah, I love it. I mean, I love AFL. So it's not, I don't need to like be forced to do research. Like to this day, I could talk AFL forever. So so it's sort of a joy. It was a joy. And then it was a slow burn as well when that started, but it had enough people watching to keep going. And I loved it. It's easy for me to talk to AFL footballers because I know, I don't really, very little chance of me being stumped with a stupid question because I don't know what I'm talking about. I just do it. I know it. So, and I love that straight from the start. And my level of passion for Carlton is ridiculous and embarrassing and just...
You poor man.
Yeah, it's been terrible. But it's funny because it's so silly that I'm so into it. So
did last year, did you walk all the way home from the MCG to St Kilda?
And that when we lost in round 1 against Richmond, because we thought maybe it was going to be our year. And, Richmond were like a team that all their players had left. Their coach had left. They were just starting again. It was like an under-12 side. We were 40 points up in the second quarter. It's like, and then we lost. I'm like, that's fucked.
Sounds like something that happened on the weekend, actually.
Mate, yeah, well, mate, nothing's changed. Oh, don't get me started. Oh, God.
We need one.
Honestly, mate, fucking Voss. Voss said in his press conference, we're going to own this result now. Do you? What about it? I know I said this on Triple M the other day, but we're going to own this result. Like we've been renting all the other results. Now we're going to own this one, are we? We're going to take a loan out and fucking own this result. He said we've got 5 days to turn it around, mate. You've had fucking years. We've been doing this shit for years now. Like, for example, that game a year ago. This is exactly what fucking happened then. Exactly what happened last week. Exactly what happened the week before. Well, now all of a sudden you realise it's an issue? Fuck me.
I think they need one of the famous Hughesy sprays.
Yeah, I know, but I did one for North Melbourne actually the other day.
Did you?
Really? Only for their I do. If you go on YouTube, you'll see these sprays.
I think we're going to show one in a second.
Oh, right. Yep. So, Sean Hampson, who used to play for Carlton and Richmond, he's now working for North Melbourne. So he texted me saying, the boys want you to do a spray for their season launch. And I said, well, I'm in Adelaide. I can't do it. I would do it, but I can't. And I said, oh, well, I could put one on film if you want to play it. He goes, yeah, that'd be great. So I said, well, and then Luke McDonald, one of their players, one of their older players, said he wants to give me all the information. So Luke rang me up, gave me some good information. And so I filmed it in Adelaide. I was doing the Adelaide Fringe Festival. I'm staying in a hotel and I thought I'll do it with Adelaide Oval in the background. So that'll be, it's sort of I know gather rounds coming up, whatever. So I walked at Adelaide Oval and I bought some blue tack and some paper and I put all these notes from all the different players I wanted to spray on a palm tree, blue tacked them to a palm tree. Then I blue tacked my phone to the palm tree.
No tripod,
a blue tack and a phone. And just pressed record and then just started the rave and went for 7 minutes. This woman walked past like, I must have looked like a mental patient. Anyway, the spray apparently went well on the night, even though it took them bloody 2 days to respond. Actually, you know what happened? I thought the spray was that night. It was going to be on TV. I thought it was going to be a launch was that night. So when I didn't do anything for 2 days, I thought, shit, did it go really badly, or did they not use it? I don't know.
Was this one that never got aired anywhere outside of the people in the room? Or
yeah.
So was it a bit more non-PG?
It wasn't. It was probably similar because there's not just the players in the room.
Of course.
It's all the families and wives and shit. So it wasn't that bad. It wasn't too. No, it wasn't that crude, but you've got to be careful.
There's no divorces or anything afterwards.
No, oh God, I mean, yeah. Anyway, but but he gave me some good information. I had a crack, and I really think there should be more of it. I think we're going the wrong way with protecting society. With you can't say anything because it's going to make someone melt down. People need to get more fucking resilient. I say to the kids, it doesn't matter what anyone says to you. You've got the choice to how to respond to it.
Yeah.
So they can say whatever the fuck they like. And you make all the decisions about your life. Stop blaming outside forces for how you feel. And I say this to my kids all the time. And they see all the shit I cop.
I'm sorry.
They see all the shit I cop online.
Yeah.
And I think that's good.
Yeah.
Because they see that it doesn't worry me.
Yeah.
Or I make it funny.
Yeah.
And so that gives them the opportunity to go, hang on, because someone said I was whatever, some negative thing, I can make it funny. I don't have to be sad because some dickhead said something nasty about me. And I think in the world we should focus more on that.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to get everyone to police the internet, because you're not going to be able to.
No.
Because people are sad and people are angry about their own lives, so they just want to lash out.
Yeah.
And you're not going to stop them.
No.
So you need to build resilience in yourself to realise it's all bullshit and you don't have to be affected by it.
That's right. I'm 100% with you. Hit play, Sammy. I want to have a little look for those watching.
Chris, I'm fired up, man.
Oh,
Give him a
Cass.
cook, Hughesy.
Give it the lot.
The lot.
Let's do it.
Okay, boys, we got someone in here to fire you up, hopefully.
Do you ever watch these, Hughesy?
Occasionally, I see them.
So let's start at the top, mate. You can't get him on the field, and for a long time you couldn't get him off the field. But we know one special lady's got you now, hasn't she? Yes, Brett has bloody tackled you to the ground, and you're going to be with her forever. Just imagine the heavy breathing is going to go on with those two. You're not as in love as Jordan Murdoch is. Where's Jordan? Mate, I've seen your Instagram. What is going on? On your girlfriend Emma's birthday, you actually wrote on Instagram, there's not enough gifts or words in the world to describe how you feel about her. How are we all else meant to go on, mate? Cameron Guthrie, where's Cameron? What an amazing Friday night for you, yeah?
Oh, here we
You
go.
swapped jumpers with Juddy. What's he meant to do with your jumper, buddy? What's he meant to do?
He ended up being a very good player. Cameron
Yeah,
Guthrie. We didn't
yeah.
know at that point that he was going to be a great player. He fucking torched Juddy that night and he ended up with a great career. So actually, I saw that last year, and I think he was retiring, and I thought, I want to say, I wrote something in the internet saying he actually had a great career. And yeah, so he did. So, but they were really good and they laughed hard. And there was one bit later on where I'm talking about. There was one, Nathan. Oh no, there was a Warrnambool guy. Billy Smets was going out. I think with Nathan
yes, I remember
Vardy's
this.
twins or something. Anyway, it was a twin thing. Twin reference where I go, can you feel everything that happens in it? It was a bit close to the edge, but they fucking laughed hard. I don't remember.
Oh, they would.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Mate, when you reflect on, so that's obviously the footy show there. We talked a bit about before the game, and you have done a lot of shows over the journey. Is there any that stand out for you mainly for enjoyment reasons, or?
Oh, look, look, everything sort of blends into one, so I must say. But with TV shows, look, I did my own show, Hughesy. We Have a Problem, for 5 seasons. So that was, not that many people remember it, but it was
It was a very popular show in my house, my
well,
family
thank
house.
you, mate.
Yeah.
So that was me hosting a show, so that was good, and all my comedian mates came on with me. And then I realised hosting a show or producing a show is not everything that's cracked up to be, because when people know that you make the decisions about who comes on, all these mates were fucking, why aren't I on?
Yeah.
That's a tough moment because not everyone can come on. So, but yeah, there's been a lot over the years. But yeah, so look, it's all been fun. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, but probably stand-up comedy is the most fun I have in life, to be honest. So apart from all the TV shows are great, but yeah, being on stage with an audience in front of you is the most joy I have in entertainment. So even though I do love everything else I've done, what I really love is when you get the giggles on a show and you can't stop laughing.
Yeah.
And sometimes it happened on Before the Game where you just, I just couldn't stop laughing. And you can't even get your next bit out because everything's so stupid. So,
Do you have a favourite tour of the week, by the way? Just
tour of the week. It would have been Neil Balm, I reckon,
yeah.
where he came out of the toilet and then just breathed a heavy sigh, and it was in the background of an interview on Channel 7 or 9 or 10 or whatever it was, and you could just tell he'd had a massive shit. So that was funny, and he laughed at that, so it's good.
Genuine question. Are they singing underneath those suits on The Masked Singer, or are they pre-recorded, those songs?
Yeah, I think they're singing, generally. I think they are. So, yeah, we've had some nights with The Masked Singer, again, another show I did, which went for 5 years. Because sometimes people would forget they'd forget the lyrics. Tell you, we had Macy Gray on. You know the name Macy Gray? Anyway, she's famous American. Had a song called I Try, one of the biggest songs of the whatever decade it was on, maybe the noughties or the 90s, I can't remember. But she was right out there. So she wouldn't even know the words to the song. So there's I don't know what the fuck she was, a giraffe or something. She's just like, well, you're miming. What the fuck's going on? I need you to sing. So, but they would probably fix it up in post. I can't remember, to be honest.
Yeah.
But on the night, there was some fucking dodgy fucking singing going on.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Well, and you built some good relationships with like judges and hosts. Like, didn't you end up in the UK for Mel B's wedding?
Yes, yeah, that was last
That's pretty
year.
crazy.
Yeah, so Mel B.
Spice Girl wedding.
Mel B replaced Lindsay Lohan on The Masked Singer. So Lindsay Lohan was our first international guest on that, or international panelist, who she had no idea who I was. And it was like, why is this guy on the show? I'm like, just fucking strap yourself in, Lindsay. It's going to be great. So she was going, why do you speak like that? And I said, it's a gift. So she was crazy as well, actually, Lindsay.
Oh, she would have taken up the whole budget, wouldn't she?
Well, yes, of course. But I remember driving in the country one day. I was trying to get her on a radio show so many times. She said, "Oh, come on," and then she just fucking wouldn't answer her phone. I'm like, anyway, and then I'm driving in the radio. I'm driving in the country. I'm doing a gig in some bloody country town in Victoria. I'm driving along on a Sunday afternoon back to Melbourne, and then my phone rings, and it's an international number, and it was Lindsay Lohan who just walked out of a nightclub in New York, because it's Sunday afternoon here. It must be Saturday night there, and she goes, I want to go on the radio now. I said, well, I don't know, I can't really make that happen. She goes, I said, why? She said, Danny Minogue's ruining my life. I don't know how she's doing that. I don't know how, and Danny's lovely. And, you know, I think Lindsay had misinterpreted something Danny had said, because Danny would not ever say anything negative about Lindsay. And I said, look, it's a Sunday. I'm not in the radio studio, but she's probably not ruining your life. Actually, I may not have said that. I was scared of her. But then she left, or whatever. I don't know what happened. COVID happened. Then, but Mel B turned up eventually, and yeah, she's a real character. Mel B is the Spice Girl. God, she's funny. She smokes a lot. And at the time, I was vaping, so we really bonded out the back of the. She's smoking, I'm vaping, and she also was like, "Fucking, this person's fucked." I'm like, "Yeah, they're fucked." Yeah. But then the other person would go, I was like a peacemaker, real peacemaker. But I love Mel B, and she invited me to a wedding. And we'd organised a holiday in London, but not even thinking there was going to be a wedding on. So my wife wanted to go over there and said, yeah, I want to go to Wimbledon, so let's go to London mid-year. And then I get this email from bloody Mel B's wedding planner saying, you're invited to the wedding. And I looked at the date. We're fucking already in London. And I was doing a couple of shows over there, and this was the day in between. Like I'd organised it. So
Yeah.
But then we never heard another email. I'm like, fuck, has she burnt me or not? So up until like two days before the wedding, I thought I was not invited. And then another email came in. I'm like, the fuck, we are going. And so me and the wife went to the wedding.
Good day?
It was a good day, yes. She married, her husband's name's Rory, lovely guy, really lovely guy. He was a hairdresser. So
There you are.
yes, so that's on the day. So yeah, so she's a real character. We got the tube there, me and my wife. Actually, as we're walking into the wedding, and it was at the big church there where Lady Diana married Prince Charles, and that worked out. But it was as we're walking in, there was a paparazzi fucking taking photos of the person who walked in before us, like 500 photos with cameramen everywhere, and I thought everyone would get that experience, but. That person was Baby Spice, the most famous person at the wedding, to be honest. And so when we walked in, they were fucking nothing. I'm like, you take one photo? I know you don't know who I am, but fucking Google, you know. So but yeah, that was a fun afternoon. So we, I actually walked in next to her personal trainer, who's a lovely guy. He's an ex-soccer player, and he also personally trained Tom Cruise for a number of years.
Oh, right.
And I said, what's Tom Cruise like? He said, intense. Really intense. So intense is an example of how intense Tom Cruise is. His baby Suri was like 3 years old apparently at the time, and Tom Cruise said to this personal trainer, I want you to train my daughter. And he said, she's 3. He said, I don't care. Get her fit. So he had to train a 3. I don't know what the fuck they did, but take the money. It's Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
Oh my God. Just a really random one, because you said about like when there's paparazzi taking photos. Are you sometimes aware when they're taking photos or have over the journey? And do you have a little trick when you?
No, I love it. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
Do you smile or do you pretend you're looking?
I
in the
don't know. I
distance,
said,
or-
what do you want, mate? Just tell me what you want so this fucking gets published somewhere. So, yeah. I've had some times over the last few years where I'm in St. Kilda. There's hardly ever any paparazzi in Melbourne, but over the last few years there's been like guys assigned to me. I'm like, the fuck?
What, so you've learnt their names and shit?
Well, the same bloke. I'm like, what the fuck's he doing? That hasn't happened for a few. I actually think about yesterday. I haven't seen the Pap for a while. Fuck, what I need to do something. I need to get injured again. So.
Do you speaking of and like one of the other things I wanted to ask, because you've mentioned some of the people you've worked with over the years and some of your close friends in comedy. Do you have any stories or who are you close with that you might have spent some time on the road with over the years? Because we've been blessed with the Australian comedy we've kind of grown up with, and the amounts of names, in your generation that are doing great things. Yeah, who are some of your close mates and any stories from on the road?
Close with most of the comedians you'd know, I suppose. So yeah, Pete Howley and Limo are very close. They're before the game alumni. So look, I bumped into Andy Lee. Carlton had just been beat. Andy Lee's a massive Carlton supporter, but he's not. He doesn't express himself like I do. He's like he lives in some sort of bubble of delusion where he thinks everything's going to be okay, and he needs me to tell him it's fucking not going to be okay, mate. And so I saw him the other day, and he's like, "Oh, don't whinge to me." Well, it's not my fucking fault. It's not. You saw what happened. You were there. I don't know. He's a fucking he's a rose-coloured glass guy, and it's annoying. I don't know why it started that rave, but
because the word Carlton was brought up.
I know. Yeah. So I mean, but they're mostly everyone's pretty good, and they need to be relaxed because there's so many comedians who fucking use me as their punchlines on their stage.
Yeah,
really?
Like, oh fuck yeah! I always especially like Tom Gleeson. Everyone, Tom, you should have seen what Tom Gleeson said about you. What do you say, the fucking arsehole? So, Lawrence Mooney fucking slags me off on stage. There's like a lot of comedians who use me as their punchlines, and then afterwards they don't fucking tell me about it. Oh yeah, how was your show, mate? Is it funny? Is any material that I might be interested in? Anyway, but I'm really relaxed about it now. I don't sound like I am, but I am. I'm fine. I'm happy to be mentioned.
How much time would you spend on the road these days, typically?
If I could, I'd gig 6 nights a week.
Wow.
But it's hard, though, because you've got a family and you should want to spend time with them. So, no, I'm not on the road that much, but I'm sometimes I'm away for a week or two, not that often. They shouldn't complain, But they like to complain, their family. Oh, it's good to see you. What's your name again? Fuck off. Trying to make a living. I'm doing this for you.
How did you meet your wife?
We were in a bar. Well, she was in a bar. There was the Cherry Bar back in 2002. I'd been single for about 2 years, maybe a year and a half, actually. I had a long-term relationship that broke up, and then I was starting to get famous. So life had changed for me in that way, as in girls who didn't smile at me were smiling at me. I was desperate for love early in life, which did not happen. And, so to think that I'd get to the point where beautiful women would want to take photos with me, I really should value that more. So so she was 22, I was 31 at the time. Mates of hers at this bar, males, all came up to speak to me. So I was on radio and TV by then, 2002. And she walked up, I could see her behind them. And I was like, oh my God, she's so fucking hot. And and then we started talking, and then her mates were going, the male mates. I didn't know what the story was, but they were going somewhere else. And then all my friends I was there were leaving as well. Oh, this is perfect. It's going to be me and her. This is going to be a great night. And I had one mate who's broke, fucking still is, but anyway. Well, I was living with him at the time in a share house, and he said, I was driving because I didn't drink. I don't drink. I had stopped drinking by that. So I had my car. I was always a designated driver. And he said, can I get a lift home with you? I said, I'd really prefer you just fucked off right now. I think I might be a chance here.
Wasn't reading it.
He goes, I don't have any money. I said, for fuck's sake. I said, all right. So I walked down to the ATM with him to give him money to get a taxi so he could fuck off home. And she walked with us. Then she started talking to him. What the fuck's going on here? Is he cutting my lunch? And I was so annoyed. And she'd just got a job as a journalist at one of the local papers in Essendon or somewhere. And so she handed me a business card. Then she gave him a business card. What the fuck? How many cards she giving out tonight? And I cracked this shit so much with him that we got to the ATM and I'm like, fuck it, no, I'm going to go home. I already think I'm in love with this woman, and if she kisses him, it's going to break my heart. So that cannot happen. And so I said, we're going to go home. And he's looking at me and goes, yeah, no, I'm going home. And we left her on the street, basically. And got in the car, and I just said, as soon as the door shut, I said, my driver, I said, never fucking do that again. You just cock block me then. And he was like, oh, sorry, man. I said, you're a fucking idiot. Anyway, I was on radio, and that Monday I had a Hughesy loser segment on the radio, so I lost it about my mate ruining my chance with this lady. And I don't think she was listening, or maybe she was, but her friends of hers were, and they texted her. She'd obviously told people about it. And she rang the radio station and said that she was just being nice to him. She didn't get on air, but she didn't want to go on air, but she was being nice to him. And then so my producer told me that she'd rung. And so I still had the card from what she'd given me the other night. So I rang her that morning, and we went out on a date that night to IMAX. I had free tickets. And so that was in.
You remember what movie you saw in 4D?
You know, I do remember because it was a space. It was a doco about space, about astronauts, and you had to wear these massive fucking helmets. It was 3D.
What a first date.
Yeah. But we did pash that night.
Well, there you
back
go.
street of Lygons, back around near the IMAX theatre there in Carlton, and we're still together, fucking 24 years later almost.
Yeah.
So anyway, there you go.
Wow,
That was it.
what a story! Well, that's the best love story we've heard on the
I
dos&d show.
know.
Who knew that was going to happen on this show? So.
CoinSpot Hot Seat is brought to you by CoinSpot, the best and easiest place to buy cryptocurrency. You can buy Bitcoin for as little as $1.
Yes, there's over 500 cryptocurrencies you can buy on CoinSpot. Download the app today. Now, Dos, do you want to explain to Hughesy what's going on here?
Well, we all know Hot Seat on Channel 9. I don't know if that's still a show anymore, but we've stolen it.
It's come back on Channel 10, I think.
Is it? Oh, well, there you go.
Hughesy might host it soon. We don't know.
I think Rebecca.
Have you been on it yet?
No, I haven't been on. I'm pretty good at quizzes. I think Rebecca Gibney. I've not seen an
Rebecca
episode.
Gibney. Yeah.
I haven't seen an episode, but I'm pretty sure she hosts it.
Okay, packed to the rafters. I think. We're going to throw you a multiple choice question, Hughesy. And in post-production, there'll be the music, a bit of lighting. So,
Hughesy, you've got a problem, actually.
oh yeah, Hughesy, we've got a problem. What's the best way to deal with a heckler? A? Is it A?
Sorry, you give me
A?
Yeah, go.
We need to let the music soothe for our sponsors.
Give them a polite warning. B, invite them on stage and pass them the mic. C, just kick them out. Or D, enter into a debate.
Look, I'm going to go. All roads end up leading to C. Kick them out. So if someone won't stop talking, I'd just get them. I'd say to security, out. So, and it's happened. It doesn't happen very often, but it's happened a few times. It became a news story last year where I ended up kicking 3 women out of a show in Adelaide where they just wouldn't shut up because one of them was so drunk. Apparently, the other one had to try to explain my jokes to her. I'm like, don't do it during the show. Anyway, so I ended up kicking them out, and the whole crowd when I got them to stand up, the whole crowd just yelled, "Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off." So they realised that they were not winning over the audience. So that ended up being a news story, actually.
I remember. Yeah.
Yes, so Channel 7 rang me 2 days later and said, "We've got footage of you swearing at women." I'm like, what? And then I realised what they were talking about. I said, no, I was giving directions. I was just telling them to fuck off. So it was a direction. I wasn't really swearing. It was just, that was incidental. So, yeah, I'd say kick them out. Kick them out. Get them out. Out.
So hecklers aren't as common as you probably think.
No, they're not. No. So generally, they're fine. Generally, people are there to see the show. What's worse is when people are talking to their mates and you can hear it and it's distracting everyone.
Yeah.
It's fucking annoying. I actually happened to be at Wimbledon where I was sitting there. 2 blokes were watching Jordan Thompson play, Australian guy, and he was in the 3rd round or 4th. It was like a big game, but on an outside court, hardly anyone. There was only like 3 rows of seating. And these 2 English blokes just sat beside us in the last set and just fucking wouldn't stop talking. Not about the game, just about whatever they wanted to talk about. It was really loud. And my son goes, "Kick him out, Dad." Well, not kick him out. He said, "Tell him to shut up." I'm like, all right. But eventually I did. And they cracked it. This bloke, big English bloke, just got, he didn't know, he recognised me as being anyone famous at all. He said, "Are you little Hitler, are you?" He called me little Hitler.
Wow.
And I'm 3 centimetres taller than Hitler was. That really hurt me. Anyway, so he shut up and Jordan won the game, which is good. Won the match against a French guy. So why did I start saying that? Can't remember. Anyway.
Hecklers. So yeah, how do you is there
Not as common as you.
Yeah,
as you
is
think.
No, but
is there
also
a good way to deal with?
if it's to do with the routine, and you know they're doing it good spiritedly, you'll go with it, and they can be funny. So it's not every heckler kick them out. But when you can tell when they just want to ruin the show, and when you know they just want to ruin the show, or they're that drunk that they don't even know where the fuck they are, got to get them out. If they're really
why would they
drunk,
pay tickets to ruin a show? Like,
What's that?
why would they pay tickets to go and like try and sabotage the show?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe you've said something that triggered them. I had a woman the other night in Noosa get up in the front row and say to me, like, the show was going great. She said, She said, do you love your son? And I said, yeah, what's the relevance? She goes, well, why do you make fun of him? I said, because he's an idiot, you know. So anyway, she's like, don't do it. If you do it again, I'm going to walk out. Mum, there's the door. And she walked out, and it was weird. It was weird. But then 5 minutes later, the studio man or the stage or whoever, the venue manager came in and got the guy who was beside her, and he walked out as well. And then he had an injury. I could tell he'd had a brain injury or something. I'm thinking that's her son. And maybe she was triggered that I was making fun of my son and I shouldn't. So I felt bad. Then afterwards I found out it wasn't her son. She was his carer. And so she was paid to be there because he was a fan of mine. And
he missed out.
No, because apparently outside she goes, I'm going to go home. But the venue knew the guy and said, well, how's he going to get home? Because she was giving him a lift. So he had to leave because she didn't like me.
Jeez.
Maniac.
I think it's time we send Hughesy home with his goodies.
I think so too. On that very funny note, what do you want to bring out first, Sammy? What do we get?
Milkman.
Milkman.
Milkman Australia, Hughesy are the leaders in everything men and male grooming. So
Love it.
Think skincare, hair care,
Moisturiser.
deodorant, moisturiser.
Use moisturiser, guys. I didn't. That's how I ended up.
And for
that's
those who want to
great.
use all that moisturiser and good grooming products, head to milkmanaustralia.com.
That's
Use
the
the code
code?
dos&d
I love this.
for 20% off. Oh, there you go. Oh, it's a bit close to the skin there. Don't burn
Really?
yourself. Yeah. How are you
No,
meant to do it?
I went about the same distance.
Petrol, mate.
The stuff from Bali is.
Mate,
That's
smell-
quality. That smells
And
good.
it's a travel bag
I was
for you, mate,
single.
when you're next on
Look
tour.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, your wife will love that.
She would love that.
Next, we'll bring out. So yeah, he's going to bring out the tote bag, the dos&d tote bag. In there, Hughesy is. Do you play golf at all? Do you ever go?
I do occasionally.
Beautiful.
I'm not
We've
very
got some
good at
golf
it, but
in
I
there
do.
for you. You don't have to go through it, mate. But in there, there's some socks, some hats, some golf balls, some
Appreciate it.
golf apparel from our good friends at Golf Clearance Outlet. We're about to go and do the chipping challenge where you play for a much bigger prize than
Great.
that.
There's no
But
bigger shop than GCO.
no
so.
bigger shop. There's 9 across Australia, and of course you can shop online. Biggest brands, lowest prices, does. Next, Sammy,
Oh.
Tommy's. How are you talking about Tommy's?
Oh, Tommy's, I don't think Dave will be drinking them because they're alcoholic. But Tommy's they're a spritz and they go down very, very well.
I
on
can't say I'll give him to my son. He's 16.
I was about to say, give it to your son, and I realised the same thing.
Is he going to parties yet? 16?
Mate.
They're having to sign notes yet?
Hey, he won an under-18 basketball grand final the other day at MSAC, and they've got their medals around. Under-18 champions. And they all went to the pub in their medals. You can't be wearing an under-18 medal and go to a pub. Apparently you can.
No, Tommy's brews are brilliant. So when he wait a couple more years and your son will be able to have them.
Drink responsibly.
You can pick them up online, or of course at a BWS or a Dan Murphy's. You can get your Tommy's, but they are made by our good friends at Freddy's. Bring that in too, Sammy, who it's a pizzeria on Chapel Street, Dave. So the founders have decided they will send you and your family.
That does smell great.
Unfortunately, it is not vegan.
That one may not
But
be
that's
vegan.
traditional. I love it.
But-
But my children love pizza.
Well, that's good because they're going to look after you, mate.
That
for a
does
night.
really smell good, guys. It might get me off the vegan train. No, I'm still a vegan. Don't
No,
send
don't
me
do
hate
that.
mail.
But you can get a vegan pizza
Yeah,
at Freddy's, and they're going to look after you, mate, for a night out for you and your family at a time that suits you guys.
Brilliant.
But we do recommend you go check out Freddy's. Hard to get a booking, so make sure
Very
you book
hard.
online.
Yeah.
And it's a great date location too, Freddy's.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, just letting you know.
Oh.
Chapel Street's a great vibe, by the way.
It is.
Depends what day and
That's fun.
time.
It used to be before the game was at Como, and now I'd drive home down Chapel Street.
Ah,
A lot of pretty sights down there.
Yeah.
Back in the day. It probably still is. I'm sure there is. I don't look anymore. I'm married.
I had a look on the weekend. Hughesy. There's some great sites on
great.
Chapel Street. You can look at the beautiful pizzeria and see
Yes.
for yourself.
Awesome. Oh, love it. Well, Hughesy, thank you, mate. We appreciate you taking the time to come on the show. We've
thanks for
had
having me.
a bloody laugh.
Yeah, I haven't heard Dos laugh ever this we've nearly done 300 episodes of this show, and I don't think he's laughed harder today. So
clip this bit up and send it to Limo and.
Yeah, don't tell him that I introed you as the best comedian in Australia. Fuck.
You can tell everyone they're the best. They believe you. It doesn't matter whether it's true or not. Just it doesn't matter what. Just tell yourself you're the best at anything.
Yes.
And if you believe it, it's true.
yeah, some life advice from Hughesy.
Love it. Awesome.
Thanks, Hughesy. Really appreciate it.
There
Mate.
you guys. Love it.
Hughesy, how was your dos&d experience on the podcast, firstly?
Wonderful.
Had a good
It was
time?
one of the days of my life. So I haven't had lunch yet. So and I didn't even think about food. I didn't have breakfast either. So I haven't eaten all day, and I'm still so happy.
Apologies about the situation we didn't get your pizza vegan.
Oh, no, but that smells great, and I get it. My kids eat meat, and we're going to go to that joint and have the time of our lives.
Oh, well, you play a bit of golf, don't you?
Occasionally, yeah. Not as much as I used to, and I never really reached any heights. But, I think I got 80 once around Sandringham Public Course.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Maybe I dreamt that, I don't know. But I used to play quite a bit.
Well,
so, yeah.
Golf Clearance Outlet, we're ready to go for the Golf Clearance Outlet chipping challenge. Now, GCO, have you been into a GCO store before?
They're the best.
Yeah, they are the best.
They do great work.
They do. So all the biggest brands for the cheapest prices
Mate,
head to
you can't believe
GCO.
they could sell it.
No.
How are they not out of business?
9 stores
That's
all
not the
across
way.
Australia.
You can't make money selling it that cheap.
Now, today, the game, if you 350 is the high score. Paul Connor's on the leaderboard.
Yeah,
And
I know
if you-
Paul. Paul Connors once, and this is as a quick aside, I once invested in a bar at the Docklands with Chris Tarrant, who used to play for Collingwood. And
It wasn't on the pier there, was it?
yeah, it was on one of the piers, yeah. There was some yacht race that was going to mean it was going to be worth it. But the yacht race came and went, and no one went to the bar. And Paul Connors was Chris Tarrant's manager.
Yeah.
There was another footballer there who was also investing. Anyway, whatever. So I put in 100K, and Paul Connors negotiated a really good outcome for me. Guess how much I got back for my 100K?
10?
$1. Thanks, Paul. We'll sorted that out.
Well,
mate.
let's make sure that you beat him today. All right. Well, bloody hell. All right, let's do this.
Docklands it just hasn't worked.
Where should I stand?
Let's just fucking cancel the Docklands. I love the Docklands, but I wouldn't put. So many people lost their fortunes there. Anyway.
All right, first shot. Let's go, Hughesy.
All right. Oh,
Negative 10. Oh, is that? No,
No,
25. 25.
Shit.
Got 25. It's all right.
I'm on the.
You're on the board.
I'm on the board.
You're on the board. How's the new show going so far, Hughesy? by the
Mate,
way?
Cooked is going great, but you know what? You can when this check out. There might be availability. Don't be shy.
Cooked.
Don't come up to me in the street and say you love me if you haven't seen the show. You don't love me if you haven't seen the show.
Do
What
you
camera am I
get that?
looking
People
at?
come and go,
Yes.
I'm a huge fan. And
Oh.
then you should ask them, well, what are you a fan of?
Mate, I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah.
What are you doing in the city right now when the comedy festival's on? What do you fucking think I'm doing? The comedy festival. You're my biggest fan. Have you not checked? You haven't got a Google alert?
All right, number 2. What did that land on?
That was.
Was that 75?
That was. And that's not even cheating.
No, that was a very good shot. I think we need
Disappointed
some
the
new
ball
Velcro
didn't
on
stick
the,
there though. That was disappointing.
Yeah, we need some
It
new
was a
Velcro
soft
strips.
touch. That would have gone in the.
Oh, what, very gentle hands, Hughesy.
Right, well, yeah. You can't say I've got gentle hands. I felt like he was flirting with you.
Don't blame me. Oh, that was a compliment. It just
I
very,
know. I felt like I was like
very
say that to a masseuse. I felt like I was about to tug him off. A very gentle
All right,
hand.
sorry.
You know what I mean? You filthy people here know what I'm talking about. I had a massage where this woman farted in the massage. It's like, but that's not. There's no happy ending there.
Oh, what was that? 50. Oh,
That was a good
150.
shit. What did Lord I get?
Just say if you can hit the exact hole in one,
If you can hit the hole in one,
it's equal top.
you're equal first, and you're going on a spending spree to GCO. Ah, 50.
So it's better than 0.
Oh, mate, well done.
Should I bet Lordo or not?
Did he? Yeah, you beat Matty Lloyd. So top 3. That's not bad.
Well, that's great as far as I'm concerned. It's wonderful.
I think I'm going to blame myself then for the gentle hand.
This has taken me back to the I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, where Zach Toohey, who I was in there with the Geelong, former Carlton Football. He used to play. We used to play this in the jungle.
Well, they had a chipping challenge.
He brought in a chipping thing. Oh. Yeah, that was his thing that he brought in. So yeah, he's a good guy, Zach Toohey.
Good on you, Zach. Hope you're watching. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Thanks, Hughesy.
Thank you, guys.
Everyone head to JCO. Buy the biggest and the best brands for cheapest prices.
Yeah, and then with the money left over, come see Hughesy live.
I'll be there.